Before a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, it becomes a pile of goo. And that's exactly what this podcast is all about. Hi, I'm Dr. Karin Nordin. I'm a behavior change expert and CEO here at Body Brain Alliance. And I'm here to bring you bite-sized stories, conversations, and lessons about the messy, chaotic, and yet absolutely beautiful process of personal reinvention. Let's dive into today's episode. Welcome, my friends, to episode 2 of the Work of Becoming podcast. Make sure you listen to this episode all the way through and then check the show notes because let me tell you, it comes with a bit of a surprise and an opportunity to jump into a challenge that's going to help you develop the skill I'm talking about in this episode. So today, I want to talk about developing an N=1 mentality. We're going to talk about what that is, where it comes from, and why it makes such a difference in personal development. So most people, when they come to personal development, they're looking for a solution. They think, I have this issue. I struggle with consistent exercise. I can't keep things tidy. I never prioritize my hobbies. I don't give myself permission to rest, whatever it might be for you. You come in and you're like, I need to find a solution. I need to find a way to fix this problem that I have. And somewhere out there, there is a magic pill, there's a magic solution, there's a magic tactic that is going to make that all go away. Or oftentimes what I see is people think that there is a magic habit, a magic routine. So they're like, I'm going to do this routine and it is going to work because this person says it's going to work and that's going to be that. And the problem with the solution-seeking mentality within personal development is that there are no solutions. There is nothing that you can start doing. There's nothing that you're ever going to find that will permanently and forever 100% of the time work for you. And that is true. Like I've told you all, I've radically changed my life. I've adopted routines that are very, very consistent now. I have changed the way I live. I have changed the way my default patterns are. And the reason why I have been successful in that is because I am no longer looking for one solution. Instead, I approach my own behavior change, my own personal development as an experiment where there is always a hypothesis. There's always data coming in. I'm always analyzing results, and then I'm always analyzing my approach based on what I am learning. One of the things I love to remind people is that you are a dynamic being. You are a live being in a world that is constantly changing. And so expecting yourself to be static, to have one thing that you do every single day, to have one approach that always works 100% of the time is ridiculous. I know that that's what we're taught, that's what we're told, that's what we're sold online, but that is, in fact, not going to happen. Instead, though, when we start viewing ourselves as an experiment and start viewing our own lives, including our failures, including our struggles, including our successes, the things that go well and the things that flop, when we start viewing all of that as data we can learn from, and when we start consistently adjusting our approach in order to take that data and use it to inform our next move, in order to inform what we're going to do differently next time, that is when things will actually start to change. The reason why I'm using the term N=1 for this mentality is because in the world of scientific notation, the N number in a study is the number of participants. So if you read a study and it says N=350, it means there were 350 people enrolled in the study. When it comes to personal development, we are absolutely going to use the science. We're absolutely going to pull from the evidence. There's a ton of stuff out there that 99% of people don't know about that are very evidence-based ways, approaches, tools, interventions, etc., that can help you exponentially. And the most important person in your experiment is you. And yet, that's the part that most people miss out on, is they're so busy looking at the lives of influencers online and people that they admire in their life and other people who are doing it differently. They're comparing themselves to 7 zillion other people with drastically different lives, and they're not actually looking at their own life. But you are the most important and the only participant in your own self-development experiment. There is actually a fair amount of research behind this mentality. So one of the 10 foundational skills that you need in order to change your life is called self-monitoring. Self-monitoring is your ability to notice, detect, understand, and see the loop that happens between your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. This includes knowing what you're thinking and feeling in any given moment, understanding how that is impacting your behavior, understanding how that might continue to impact your behavior in the future. And really, people who are effective at self-monitoring are good at running this very neutral, very curious loop in their head where they're always watching and reflecting on their own behavior and adjusting their approach based on that. They are in a constant experiment of n=1. So that is a tiny mindset shift I want you to make. Instead of focusing on your work of becoming process as being this place where you have to find the right solution, I want you to view every day as an experiment, every hour as an experiment, every choice as an experiment. And if everything is an experiment, then there is no such thing really as failure or success in the sense of like the morality surrounding those two words, because everything is important data. Now, that doesn't mean we can't feel disappointed sometimes. That doesn't mean we can't celebrate when we're excited when things go well. We can absolutely emotionally react to what happens in our lives. That's important. But we can have space for that emotion to happen and for us to process it. And then we can also look back from a more neutral place, from a scientific perspective, almost like you are your own mad scientist looking at your own case study. And you can think, what did this failure teach me? What did this moment teach me? So instead of thinking about like, oh, yesterday I had been doing a habit for X many days and then I fell off the wagon. No. That failure, that change, this version of me did this habit X many days in a row and then all of a sudden didn't. As a scientist, I look at that and I'm curious. I'm like, what changed? What happened there? What happened between day 6 when the streak was going well and day 7 when it didn't? And when we start examining our lives like a scientist using this n=1 mentality, we build our self-monitoring skills, which is foundational to all of the other skills, and we actually start to see change. So that's the mindset I want you to try on. I have a couple very exciting announcements that are going to help me help you develop this mindset. Number 1, and this is completely free, is if you look in the show notes, I have started a brand new email newsletter called n=1. I know a lot of you have asked me, how do I review my week? How do I start this loop? How do I start reflecting more often? How do I be more neutral about my own behavior and stop beating myself up so much? And I am going to help you with that. So if you sign up for the n=1 newsletter, which is completely free, at the beginning of the week, you are going to get a tiny challenge from me, a tiny, like 1-sentence experiment, something to keep an eye out for, something to look at, something to explore that week, some tiny thing you're going to do differently. And then at the end of the week, you are going to get a reflection question that is sort of parallel to that experiment. So this is a newsletter you're going to get twice a week, right? Beginning of the week experiment, end of the week reflection, that's going to help you build this n=1 mentality and build your self-monitoring skills. A lot of the time, as much as I possibly can, I'm going to make sure this podcast has to do with or is related to the sort of n=1 prompts that you're getting at the beginning and end of the week. That way, we're constantly in a loop, and you're not just passively listening to this podcast, you're actually using it as a way week by week by week by week by week to build your own skills. So that is going to be super fun. You can go to the show notes and there will be a link there where you can sign up for the email list. If you do sign up for the email list, surprise number 2 is that I wanted to make sure we kickstarted your n=1 mindset. I wanted to, twice a week emails are great, but really, in order to immerse yourself in a new mindset, you need daily exposure to it. So during the month of September, we are running what I am calling the n=1 challenge. it is going to be 33 days in honor of my 33rd birthday, which was last week. So it'll run from September 1st all the way into a little bit into October. And every single day of the challenge, you are going to get the opportunity to reflect on something. So every single day, there is going to be a tiny prompt that is going to help you experiment in some way that is going to build your self-monitoring skills. It's $33, 33 days, so $1 a day, super low cost. I don't know that we'll ever do this again. We might not. But it's going to take place in our community. So not only are you going to get to access our community, our app, meet with other people, do this work alongside others, but that's where the prompts or the tiny experiments are going to be dropped every single day. So that enrollment will be open for that until September 1st. It will be $33 to enroll until the end of our birthday sale, at which point it will go up to $49. There are a limited number, very, very small number of VIP seats. So if you want to upgrade into the VIP version of the challenge, that is going to come with 4-hour-long coaching calls with me. So once a week during the month of September, you are going to have an hour-long group coaching call. Everybody who's in VIP is going to have a group coaching call with me, and we're going to coach you through whatever obstacles or problems are coming up within that, within the work that you're doing within the challenge. So I'm very excited. Again, you have to go ahead and sign up for the N=1 newsletter, and then you can also enroll in the challenge. Make sure that you do both of those things if you want to do the challenge. The last thing I will say here, many of you are going to ask me, Karin, should I do this challenge if? Should I do this challenge if I just bought other products? Should I do this challenge if I'm a member of Change Academy? Should I do this challenge if I'm a coaching member? This challenge has been designed to take you less than 5 minutes a day, and it has been designed to stack very, very well with all of our other products. Self-monitoring, like I said, is a foundational change skill. It doesn't matter how good you are at it right now. A refresher is always going to help. It's going to have a ripple effect on all of your other change skills. So I would absolutely jump in. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a huge party in our community because we don't do live challenges like this often. I think there's going to be a lot of wins, and I am just so excited to share it with all of you. So go ahead and dive in, and I'll see you in the next episode. Struggling to close the gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it? It makes sense. In school, you took calculus in English class, but no one ever taught you how to follow through. That's why I created Change Academy, the school where we mix the real science behind self-help with the magic of accountability. Our evidence-based 4-step follow-through protocol helps build a version of you that's unstuck and truly evolving. One behavior, one goal, 1 quarter at a time. If you're ready to really do the work of becoming and step into the next version of you, visit the Change Academy link in the description to learn more.